Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to Daily's 2A News. Today we're going to talk about how Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro effectively changed Pennsylvania law based on his legal opinion, which now says that all 80% lowers unfinished are to be considered firearms.
This presents a significant threat to our public safety. It undermines law-abiding citizens, and it makes our jobs in law enforcement harder.
This change will stop criminals. It will stop terrorists and other lawless people who can't pass a background check from acquiring a gun through a loophole that should never have existed in the first place.
Now, prior to the Attorney General's new legal opinion, 80% lowers were completely legal in the state of Pennsylvania because they were just that. They were 80% lowers. Now, according to the Attorney General and his interpretation of law, he thinks that these 80% lowers should be considered firearms. He says that in order to address terrorism, in order to address those who should not be able to own firearms, he's going to now classify anything that can be readily converted into a working firearm a firearm. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this means for 80% lowers in the state. While he says that anybody who currently owns an 80% lower, finished or unfinished, that is legally allowed to own or possess a firearm can still own them legally. However, if you classify something as a firearm, that puts it in an entirely new category. That means if you're going to be selling it at a gun show, if you're going to be selling it at an FFL, the potentiality to have to maybe undergo a background check could be there. It also leaves open the window that anybody who's carrying one of these, maybe in a backpack or in a bag, who's carrying it from the store to their way home, can now be illegally concealing a firearm, because if he's calling that a firearm, then obviously it's going to again follow under those new rules. So this opens a lot of doors for good, innocent, law-abiding citizens to now become criminals under Pennsylvania's new law. Now, the Pennsylvania Attorney General is also saying he's using this to close a loophole in the law, which allows for people to create what he calls ghost guns that are unserialized firearms. Now, to my understanding, a loophole is something that you could use in order to essentially get around the law, when in reality, it has been perfectly legal to manufacture your own firearm for as long as I can remember. People can manufacture single-shot firearms from a piece of wood or a piece of blank steel or aluminum. You can manufacture it out of a pipe. I mean, I've seen people build shotguns out of pipes and be able to use it as a single-shot shotgun. That's perfectly legal, and those do not have serial numbers. This is simply the government using 80% lowers, which again are unfinished pieces of plastic or aluminum that still need to be worked out, still need to be manufactured, parts still need to be bought for it, it still needs to be assembled before it's actually a firearm. But he's using that, the fact that you're 80% of the way there, in order to reclassify them as firearms. Now, the problem is you're going to see some people running into some pretty big problems, because you got law enforcement out there who may not understand exactly what we're talking about here, and somebody could be prosecuted for owning a simple piece of aluminum or a simple piece of plastic, which by their interpretation could be readily converted to a firearm. Now, the thing is, you don't have to have a serial number. You don't have to have these type of identifying markers on a firearm that you make yourself, but the government wants access. They want access to numbers. They want things to be traceable and trackable, when in reality, it is absolutely none of their business what you have, what you own, or what you do. So by this means, Pennsylvania is trying to find a way to keep track of all of these firearms that they essentially don't like because they do not have serial numbers. So you can see that they're heading down a road that could be very, very dangerous and get a lot of people into trouble. So while you have people who are legislators and even people who are unelected officials and bureaucrats making laws based on things that they don't understand, there are good people out there that are going to be affected by this so-called legal opinion. And so people in Pennsylvania need to stand up, they need to speak out, and they need to let their voices be heard, and let them know that this legal opinion should not stand by any shape or form, and by essentially telling somebody that some piece of plastic or aluminum is now a firearm, you're getting yourself into some major hot water, both politically and legally. So hopefully the people of Pennsylvania will stand up to this, because it is tyrannical and unconstitutional. It seems to be happening more and more across this country. So again, I want you guys to stay on top of this if you can. I will post more videos about it as more information comes out. But I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit that little bell notification, and stay tuned.